Welcome back, my friends, to the podcast of shifting gears or whatever we call ourselves. I feel like, bro, we're so like deep into this whole like shift gear thing that we might need to like re-explain the name to people.
Do we? Well, I think
I
we.
don't know.
All right, we have new fans, so I mean,
What is it like? It's just an ability. Like, I don't know if there's really that big of a story behind it.
no, it's not. It's literally just there's a Kling Clan card from Black and White that I won nationals with. It's like my favorite card ever, and its ability is Shift Gear. And we just thought it sounded nice for the podcast name because we were having trouble coming up with one. So
It sounds like exotic and like we're like trying to promote people to like shift their mindset gear. You know, like that
well,
cheesy garbage that
it's a
people
double meaning, right? Like, you know, it's got the
very
Pokemon
deep,
card
man.
meaning, plus it's got the philosophical meaning as well. So
Exactly. Exactly. It's a weird time right now. Like we normally don't record during the day, so I've had to like change my blind setup about 4 times because I look like a ghost. And now like I'm still being blinded through my blinds. So if I'm blind, it's not that I don't like you, it just I can't see. Welcome back though, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another week. What are we, 21 now? Episode 21, something like
yeah,
that?
something like that. Not bad.
Something like that. Nothing happened this week, by the way. Like just like full disclosure, Pokemon wise, nothing happened. But thanks to limitlesstcg.com, we have some City League results that we can go through, which are actually quite interesting. We were looking through it before we hopped on air, and I said like about 4 times, I'm like, how is that good? So we can have we can have that talk. Something cool came up on the weekend. I don't know why this came up, but someone was asking me like, "Hey man, why don't you play Miraidon anymore?" And I said, playing Miraidon is like playing like War, or like by putting like $50 on Red. That's like what playing Miraidon feels like to me. So we're gonna have a nice conversation today about like how Pokemon decks relate to casino games. So, preliminary thoughts on a Pokemon deck that relates to a casino game. Anything?
Well, I feel like most casino games are very random. So I feel like you can
Yeah.
almost do any deck. So, why don't you lead? Because I think you're more well prepared than I am for this one. I want to get some inspiration from you first.
Yeah, this is something I will admit I've been thinking about more than I should have for something that does not matter in the slightest bit. The one I will say is Roaring Moon feels like playing War, especially when you're playing against like Miraidon or something. It feels like you're playing War. It's like, all right, who went second? Who just drew the higher card? And you just go boom, 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 game's over. So, a little bit of War from Roaring Moon. I was thinking about it deeper. Maybe like, I don't know, man. Maybe like Mew VMAX is more of a blackjack kind of deck
I was
because you're
literally
just
just
like,
about to say that. Yeah.
yeah, it just feels like you're like drawing off the top. You're like, all right, I hope something hits here. Like you're hitting on the 13. You're like, if this isn't a 7 or an 8, I'm cooked.
Well, I was gonna
So
say for me, Mew is like you do your turn first. So like in blackjack, for people who don't know, you play and the dealer plays. But you're basically hoping the dealer doesn't get a higher score than you. So for Mew, it's like you play your judge path. That's your play for the turn. Then you're just hoping that your opponent doesn't draw out of it. They don't hit the blackjack. So I think that's a good
yeah, yeah,
comparison. Any judge
I like
path deck
that.
is blackjack in my opinion. I don't know, I'm trying to think some other decks.
Okay, let me think of one.
I'll say Giratina or even like Gardevoir. I'll say those are like Texas Hold'em. They're like poker. Like they're more skill based games, but there's still a lot of randomness involved. For Giratina, right? It's like you have to play Roxanne Path sometimes, so like you don't know what your opponent's gonna draw, stuff like that. So that can
I
be
agree with
poker.
that because like sometimes you'll have like pocket aces and you're like, all right, my hand is sick, but then the flop is something like just totally garbage. It's like starting like double VIP past Colress and Tina and then being able to like loop nothing together after that.
Yeah.
So I agree. The one I'm struggling to relate right now is slots. Like, what deck is slots?
Well, that's just
'Cause
pure
slots
casino.
yeah, slots is legit. Like, I'm pulling this lever. It's just RNG, bro. Like, I'll leave it up to whatever to decide. Like, it feels like that's generator to me.
Yeah, it's generator. You could say it's Chen Pao. You could say it's Golden Go maybe.
Could be Chen Pao actually, because like
Lugia,
if I'm not
Lugia.
starting VIP pass, I lose. Yes, 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 yes. Capturing Aroma and Messagoza.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's Lugia, I think.
uh,
So.
that is
Yeah,
fire.
and I've actually been anytime I'm with one group of Pokemon friends for a tournament, we drive back through Niagara Falls. There's always a pit stop at the casino. So
I rate that,
yeah, one of our good friends, he always loves to play some blackjack, and he goes play some other games, and like I just like to sit there and watch. So I'm
bro.
well
Like
versed.
since like online gambling has been like a thing, like so many people have become like complete
Oh, it's so
degens. It's
bad.
actually
I
crazy.
don't
Yeah.
I hate online gambling so much. You can't even like watch sports anymore without them being like, oh, let's do the FanDuel like parlay the game. It's like I don't want to see this. Like, get this off my
Bro,
screen.
I'm so into it now. Like it's I don't know. Like I have this rule that like as long as I'm like betting with like house money, I'm good. Like as long as I'm not depositing my own money, I'm chilling. And so many of these like places have like those like bonuses or whatever when you sign up. So I signed up for like 6 of them, and I've just been rinsing bonuses since.
Yo, it's a
But it's like
gateway,
it's
man.
crazy. It's such a gateway. The thing is though, like 90% of people like don't have the presence of mind to be like, I should stop now. They rinse through their first 100 and they're like, all right, I'm gonna deposit 1,000. I think this is a good idea. Like this is the problem.
Yeah.
And like for me, like the thing that stands out the most is the amount of money they give you. Like when you sign up, goes to show how much money they actually make. Like it's insane.
Yep. And the other thing is, if you ever start winning, they just stop letting you bet, which to me should be illegal. Like I feel like if you're gonna like let people lose their money, you should also have to lose your money. So
Yeah,
yeah. Anyways, we can move on
that's
from
our
gambling
weekly
talk.
segment of thing people don't care about that they have to listen to anyways. So there's a limitless tourney here called that's under the city leagues. It's literally called PAO, PAO,
Nice.
and like I know it's just a city league. I know it's just a league cup, but we're looking at it because it's called PAO. And like we were talking about it earlier, we're like, dude, there's like 9 pages of tournaments. How are we gonna filter this? We're gonna go through the one with the coolest names.
Okay, I like it. And the coolest deck. So I'm on the first page here. I already see some bangers. I see Patra. I see Matang, Dialga V-Star.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing what's it called? Armarouge. So these, as we always say, the Japanese are cooking. So the Matang deck
There's
actually looks
a
so funny to me. They play Basque Legion as well. If you know what that Pokemon is.
yes, I do.
Yeah. So
So you just go crazy and then you just like recycle all the energies back.
yeah, it's like Matang's ability. It's like a stage 1. It's like look at the top 4, put any energies you see into play. Then you play 17 metal. And then yeah, Basque Legion, it's 0 energy, it's attack. 20 damage for each metal in your discard or energy. Shuffle them all back. So
I'm
pretty
actually kind of
interesting.
surprised that like that Basque Legion line isn't better because like the Basculin searches for 2 cards, or 2 basics, puts them down. So
Yeah,
it's
it's like
actually a pretty
yeah,
good attacker.
gather the crew. So honestly, I like it. You start Basculin and then you get your Beldums out. And then like if they don't knock out your Basculin, you can get Basque Legion later. So very creative deck.
Well, do you remember the point in time where like every deck had like baby Pokemon in it, like
Oh
colorless
yeah,
attack baby Pokemon? Like that's what Basculin is.
yeah it is. I mean, but those baby Pokemon were so good because like they had like a 50% chance that your opponent couldn't attack them. Like their abilities for people who don't know is if they're asleep, they can't take damage, and all their attacks would put them to sleep. And then if you go
Yeah.
back in time even further to like the Neo era, like they had Cleffa there. Cleffa was even better because its effect was your opponent flips the coin, so like you don't have to stay asleep going into your turn. So
True.
yeah, I love these like setup Pokemon that have like no energy attacks. Like we had a Alolan Vulpix back in that wasn't that long ago. That was maybe like 5-6 years ago. All right, even
Yeah.
longer
You
actually.
can.
2017.
No way, really?
Yeah, so it's like 7 years ago.
Holy.
But that was a great attack, right? It's like it evolves into a useful Pokemon. It's a good setup. Some decks that didn't even play the Ninetales played the Vulpix. So I don't know, just good game design in my opinion. The problem we have now is just like you like basically give up a free prize or it's like too slow to have setup Pokemon. Like some decks play like
Yeah.
Mew celebrations, something like that, but you need the like colorless attacks or the free attacks because you need to be able to retreat into it and not waste your energy attachment. So yeah, it would be cool if like more decks like gave their like little basics like a call for family type attack to help them starve off the aggro decks or stave
Yeah,
it
like
off.
Mew from Celebrations is like it's I think it's more of a crutch than it is like a setup Pokemon. Like you
Yeah,
just use it whenever you want in the game. Whereas like these setup Pokemon, like for people who didn't play in that era, like these were legit. Like you're playing 2 of these no matter what. There's
yep.
the Cleffa, the Tyrogue's pretty good.
The Pichu was really good.
Pichu.
It was
Yep.
both. It was actually a really cool effect. Like I don't think there's another card that has an effect similar, but its effect was both players can search their deck and put as many basics on their bench as they want.
It was balanced.
Yeah, it was
Actually,
balanced.
I like it.
It's called Playground.
The one thing I don't remember is if like say you use Playground and I put a bunch of Pokemon into play, I couldn't evolve the next turn, right? I had to wait a
No,
turn.
you could evolve right away. Yeah, the
Really?
opponent could evolve right away. 'Cause I think it technically counted as them being in play since it was
For a
before their
turn.
turn started. Yeah. So it was
That's
obviously
broken.
risky, but there's a lot of decks where they just didn't care if their opponent got to evolve. Like it was mainly played in like
Yeah.
slow setup decks, like your Chandelure, Vileplume type decks. So
What a time to be alive.
what a time to be alive.
That's the Pokemon history of the day. So the one cool thing that's coming out of these Champions League is that there's a lot of different things going on right now. A lot of different decks. By a lot, I mean a lot. And I understand these are just League Cups. Like, take it with a grain of salt, of course. But they are 64-player events. Like, they're not free by any stretch of the imagination. And, like, the thing that stands out the most to me right now is that there isn't, like, one clear BDIF, which is honestly music to my ears.
Yeah. No, it's very diverse. And we're also seeing like temporal forces. Like it actually did create a lot of archetypes. Like just scrolling through this list, I'm seeing lots of ancient box. I'm seeing lots of future box. And those were decks like I think people weren't really sure if they were gonna be able to stand up, but it seems like they're doing well. And we talked about it last week, right? Like a couple of them made top 16. So yeah, Neil, maybe what deck are you maybe like most excited to try once we get post rotation?
What's crazy is I actually was thinking about that the other day, and like I said this last week. I'm like, I don't really care about post rotation until it hits, but I'm excited to play Chen Pao, surprisingly. Just because like I think Chen Pao might be the deck in the format that has like the most intricacy to it. At least that's what it feels like on the surface. So I'm excited to play that. But like as far as new decks go, probably Ancient Box or Future Box. I don't know enough to know the difference yet. I don't know how good each one is in comparison to each other. So whichever one ends up being better, obviously I want to try that one. I also want to take Gardevoir for another spin. I think it could be okay. It's scared of Lost Vacuum now, but I don't know. We'll see. It's worth a shot. How about you? What are you feeling?
Yeah, I think the Ancient Box is actually a pretty cool deck. I've played it a little bit, and it's one of those decks where it's like it trades really well. It just feels like every turn you're like, I need to get what I need. I need to get what I need, and you're kind of susceptible to I don't know. I haven't tried the Ancient Box yet, but that one looks like I don't know, kind of basic. It's pretty linear. Other than that, like yeah, we've talked about Chen Pao before. I kind of want to try the not Donphan, Great Tusk Mill. I think that seems pretty fun. We haven't had we haven't had a proper mill deck in a while. We had Durant actually like a couple years ago, but
Yeah.
that one could be fun. But yeah, other than that, I don't think there's any like that's like jumping out at me where I'm like I need to try this deck.
Yo, I'm so confused. Is this like remember that like Mallow card that like search for two and put it on the top of the deck? What is the reprint called? Because this one says Codebreaker Solution.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
That's for something else.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Is it?
Or maybe the English one's different, but that was a Japanese translation, or like vice versa, something like that. But
Bro, I could have sworn like last week it had a different name. Like,
okay, well maybe
I
they
don't
had a
even
different
know where
name
this
and
came
like
from.
it got revealed in English, and then that was its English name. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. But yeah, so let's go through this real quick. There's a one called Wonder Goo. That's a sick one. I want to look at Wonder Goo. Oh my god. All right, I don't want to look at Wonder Goo anymore. There's 8 Zards at top 16. Like it's so hard like going through these because you have to take them all with such a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But it really does look like Lugia is really good from what I'm gathering here.
Yeah, I've tried Lugia. It actually does feel really good as well. Chinchino is just like such an insane attacker. It's a one prizer that's capable of one shots, and then also it's actually pretty good against Snorlax because you play all the jet energies. Pretty much everything your deck can attack. So no, it feels pretty good in my opinion. I definitely think it'll be either tier 1 or like top of tier 2. Like it seems like it's the real deal to me.
Does it look as like casino as it normally does?
Yes. I mean, like you play, you still play like the capturing aromas, and like people have even cut the Mezagozas, so it's even less consistent than the list we were seeing before. One thing I will say is, I forget if we mentioned this last week, is the format's a bit slower now on the first couple turns, especially with like decks like Miraidon and even like Roaring Moon not being as popular. Like you can actually afford to read the wind, like a lot of games now. Like Charizard won't one-shot you. I don't know if you're facing like a stall slower deck, even Ancient Box, like they can't knock you out right away. So you have time to like set up now.
That was the one thing I was thinking about Chen Pao too, because you can just kind of chill, and especially if Zard is BDIF, like you're just chilling.
Yeah.
You can take your time, buddy pop in on turn 2 now, like pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So.
Other than that, like there's not a whole lot that's like sticking out too much to me. Pao looks good. Goldenga looks good. I mean, like these are all things that are probably going to change when it comes over to the Western world. But
Yep.
for now, I mean, like Vancouver's our last big event, and we're onto this for UIC. Did you got into UIC, right?
Yeah, I had pre-reg, so I didn't have to worry. Like,
Right.
It's still crazy to me that we're struggling with this, like, people can't get in nonsense. I'm like, they've known how big the demand is now. Like, this is our 3rd year back. So it's like, and if anyone's been to the Excel Center, like, it's massive. Like, they could get, like, more space if they wanted to. And I understand, like, logistics of running an event. Like, I understand there's, like, budget concerns. I understand you have to get staff. But from just, like, talking to my friends or people I know who are judges, like, there's huge applications for the ICs. Like, a lot of people don't get in. So I don't think they have an issue of sourcing judges. I don't know, maybe it's just, like, they just don't want the tournaments to be, like, that big. Like, they're just like, all right, we're fine if some people can't play. Like, and then, like, yeah like,
I mean...
Yeah, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I think that is what it is. I think they're just like, we're fine if some people don't play, because they're big enough already, and then like you're getting to a point where it's just stupid. Like 37 points to top 8 or whatever it's going to be for UIC is just stupid.
Yeah, I mean it's not gonna be 37 because it'll be 36, I think. But like now when we think of like
Probably.
NAIC, like if NAIC was uncapped, like how many masters do you think there would be? Like, do you
This is a
think
tough one.
if I gave you over under 5,000, which would you pick?
I'm probably taking the under, but barely.
Yeah, like I feel like that's the range it could get to if it's uncapped, right? Like just
If it was in like a more central location, like if it was still in Columbus, I would say over. I just think
No,
New Orleans is going to be tough for some people to get to.
I think New Orleans is easier for international people to get to than Columbus.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure New Orleans has some international flights. But I'm not.
Well, I guess
sure.
yeah. I guess like airport wise probably, and like just
Yeah.
for the sheer volume of flights coming in and out, I guess it would be. Just like geographically in my head, it doesn't make that much
Yeah.
sense.
I don't know. And then like I see a lot of people like are like Arcanine implemented that new like first come first serve thing, which is like okay, it's cool, but it's like it doesn't really solve the issue, right? Like at the end of the day, it's just like demand is just greater than the amount of seats. Like no matter what Arcanine does, like it just doesn't solve the problem. It feels bad if you don't
Yeah.
get in with this system. It felt bad if you don't get in with the other system. So it's the illusion of
At the end of the
fairness,
day, like
so.
yeah, at the end of the day, it's not an Arcanine problem to
No,
solve.
it's
This is a
not.
Pokemon problem to solve. Like deal with it, figure it out. Somebody do something. Y'all have enough money. Just
Yeah.
just figure it out, bro. Figure it out.
Yeah.
The one other like funny thing, speaking of road trips, is that I can bring up now that we're talking about it. I don't know why this came up in my mind, but like, you ever been on like a road trip with like Pokemon people that you just maybe like don't know as well? Like you just like, hey, like I need a car, and you just go. Like maybe when we were like younger or whatever, like we did this a bit more.
I feel like I've only ever done this probably like once, maybe. But
What would it, like random? Not randos, but like people
Just
you're
go
just
into that
not
well.
boys with like that.
yeah,
Yeah. So in that moment, I don't know why this came up in my head, but I'm just like, all right, who gets Ox? Like what's going on? What's the dynamic in this car? And like, what if you get thrown in a car with some like randos, and you say you like hate country, and they're playing Luke Bryan for like 8 hours? Like, what do you do? And it brought up a story in my head when like my boy got a new sound system when we were younger. He gets his new sound system in his like Civic, and we're like 17 or 18. So it's a little like story time here with Aneil. But anyways, he gets this Civic, he gets this new speaker system, and like I respect it. Like you want to show the boys your speaker system. He packs 5 mans in the car. Okay, this is a small Civic. 5 mans in the car. The subwoofer's going boom, boom, boom. You know what the first song was he played when we got in there? Take a wild guess.
call me maybe.
It's on along the same lines. Yeah.
Give me artist, and I'll give you a guess.
Artist is gonna give it away directly. I'll give
Okay.
you a hint. NBA All Star Game.
NBA All Star Game,
All Star Weekend. Not he didn't play in the
Weekend?
game. He was there all weekend and like
this
front
year?
runner. Yep.
Mo Bamba. No, he's definitely not the All Star Game.
He was not at the All Star Game, bro. Sheck West was not at the All Star Game.
Tyler Hero.
No, he was in the front row.
Oh, you're
He
saying
was
like the
chilling
artist.
with-
The artist was not like a player.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
okay,
artist.
okay. Male or female?
Male.
Male. I assume rap.
Yep.
Like Drake or no?
You're getting close.
J. Cole.
Close.
Uh,
Little older.
Wayne. Lil Wayne.
Very close.
Eminem.
That same era. Same era. You're still
Usher. 50.
there. You go.
50 Cent.
50.
Was it in the club?
Okay, can you narrow? No, I wish it was in the club.
Candy Shop.
Yep. The first song this guy plays, we're like sitting in the car. It's 5 guys just sitting there, like we're like just like this, like crammed, and all I hear is, "I'll take you to the candy shop," and I lost it, bro. Like I was on the floor, man, because it was just so stupid. Like, why would you play that? So, anyways, so it brought up this whole thing in my mind with like people going on like awkward road trips and thinking about what awful things could happen. Like, I mean, like even when we went to Knoxville, like our boy played some very outlandish things that we cannot repeat on air. And like when someone else is in charge of Ox, dangerous things happen.
I know.
So like I was wondering if you had any like joke stories of like road trips or whatever, but I assume not because you're more of a flyer, right?
I am. Well, I mean, I've done tons of road trips, but yeah, if it's any like my general rule of thumb is if it's anywhere like past like 6 or 7 hours, it's like I'm flying or I'm not
Yeah.
there. So I'm trying to think maybe. Well, I mean, I had one with you and Adam skiing in Vancouver. There were some songs
that was a
being
good one.
you were on the aux on that one, blasting the songs downtown.
Oh, some good stuff.
That was some good stuff. Actually, I just like in like
That was-
I don't know. I'll keep going.
That was just DMX, right? I'm pretty sure we just played
I
DMX.
think so. It was just funny.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, I have no qualms if someone's like playing horrible songs on the aux. I'm just like, no, like this is go next. Like,
Yeah. But yeah, leave your best road trip story in the comments below. We want to hear them. We want to hear it, whether they're like appropriate, not appropriate. We want to read them.
yeah, let's do it.
Man, this is like it's so funny because like we started like when we started this podcast, it was so like Pokemon focused. We're like, yo, like let's talk about Pokemon all the time. Now this is just our life, bro.
Well,
We're
I
just
mean,
entertainers now.
there's just like not that much Pokemon this week. We're trying to like entertain with our airtime, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, there's like so many bad stories I could tell on here, but like I would not be in a good spot publicly if I did this. So another funny thing that happened this weekend, we're at a League Cup, and well, you know what? Actually, let's talk about something else first.
okay.
So something a listener sent in to me. He said like talk about like not like sort of being victimized, but like dealing with unlucky situations in Pokemon. Like, how do you deal with it? Like, how do you move on? How do you build a bridge? Like, let's use for example, I don't know, coming ninth or like IDing and bubbling or whatever it is, like something like that. What's your opinion? How do you get over that?
You just gotta be mad like in the moment, then you just gotta throw it out and play the next game. I mean, that's kind of how it is,
Build a
right?
bridge.
Like you can get salty and get tilted or whatever. You just can't let it affect like what comes next, right? Like you gotta like figure out like I don't know if you whiff a card or you had like a 80% chance of getting it, you just gotta be like, all right, like what's my backup plan? Like what do I do now? If you lost an unlucky round, like I don't know, like go walk outside and get mad or something. Like,
Get some air.
Get some air. Touch some grass.
Smoke a dart.
So
Do not smoke a dart.
yeah,
We do
don't
not
do that.
condone
We
that.
do not condone that for sure.
Do not smoke a dart.
I don't know. It's like anything in life, right? It's like you can't control things sometimes, right? Like it's like that Star Trek quote. It's one of my favorite quotes. It's like it's possible to do everything right and still lose. Like that's not failure. That's
True.
just life, right? Like it's gonna happen. So you just gotta accept that sometimes it's out of your control. And as long as you did everything you could to win your games, like sometimes you're just not gonna win.
Yeah, this is when I use a very classic Aneil quote, and anybody who knows me knows I use this quote. You win some, you dim some. It's a classic. You just gotta build a bridge sometimes. You gotta just move on. And like, to be honest, like this happens to some people more than others, right? Like some people feel very victimized by this. Some people feel very victimized by the game, and I think that's like a bridge that you got to get over at some point. I think that's one of the first learning curves that no one really talks about. It's like learning to like channel that energy into something positive is like super important, especially when you start playing the game, because like you can feel like, oh, I missed boss for game, like I'm the unluckiest guy in the world, whatever, and then you go rant to your boys and they're like, I don't care. But besides that, it's just about like turning that into something positive, like
Yeah.
understanding when you got to build a bridge and move on.
And like if you have a large enough sample size, like it'll even out. Like when people like blame everything on luck, like oh I always get unlucky. I'm like okay, there's no way you got
Yeah.
unlucky like 10 League Cups in a row. Like I feel like you got to look inward at that point, right? So even if you do get unlucky in games, like still look for spots where you could have played better, plays you might have missed, but yeah, just it's part of the game. If you want a perfect game, go play chess.
Yeah, and be constant too. Like memorize what you are like doing wrong is one important thing that I learned. Like kind of like take things by turn, but like also like realize like oh I messed up like round or turn 2 of this round or whatever, and it led me into this situation. So that helps. But also be conscious of like what you're putting on your boys or whatever. Like there's a lot of people in this world that like will walk out of like a tournament and go straight to their boys and just complain for like a minute and a half. Like all right, bro, like be conscious of that. Like try and limit what your friends have to go through in regards to your unluckiness. I have a rule. Any like rant above 45 seconds has to be completely warranted when it comes to
That's
Pokemon.
a long time actually to give someone. So yeah.
At least I'm pretty patient. Like I can be on like my 10th, like, yo, that's crazy, bro, and I'm still going. And I think it's still suitable until you get past the 45-second mark. Then if they're telling me, but like the time they like level balled for like a Ralts, then I'm just like I'm pulling the plug. I'm like, dude, I don't care. Thanks though. Uh, one thing we wanted to shout out, we wanted to help our boys at Nerd Rage Gaming. They reached out to us. They're doing a little charity thing. It's actually pretty cool. So I'm just gonna read this real quick. They're doing a little team battle, and like to be totally honest with you, I don't fully understand how this is working, but I'll read what was given to me. They're working with the Lost Zone Kitchen guys to raise money for the Chicago Food Depository. The donation link went live last week, and the event will end with a live stream team battle with giveaways and other fun stuff for viewers. I was wondering if anybody wants to like kind of sign up, if they could reach out to Rafal. He was on our podcast at one point. If you guys could do that, that's great. Tell him, I don't know, tell him we sent you. Maybe we can put some value to our names here. But no, we do this for free because those are our boys. They're having a live team battle with, I think it's at Nerd Rage Gaming. I think Nerd Rage Gaming is also a place, which is
Maybe.
news to me.
No, it's a store, I think.
It's a store?
Yeah, it's a store that they sponsor them. That's the team.
Oh, okay. I thought the team was called something different. So anyways, it's happening on March 9th. It'll be streamed live on Twitch, and the event will include games in old formats, giveaways, donations, incentives, and more. 100% of the money raised is going to go directly to charity, and neither the team takes a cut. If you'd like to donate ahead of the event, there's also a donation link we'll put in the bio of this video on YouTube. So shout out to our boys at Nerd Rage. They're our sister franchise at this point.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Like Toronto and Chicago. It's actually kind of funny because Toronto and Chicago are sister cities.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah, seems like there's a lot of like similar personalities between the two cities too, so it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to check that out in the bio of this video. Looks pretty cool for a good cause. I'm always for that. Not pocketing money to go buy dragon shields or anything that they're doing that some other people do in this community. So yeah, go check it out. All right, you got some trivia for me?
I do have some trivia for you, Aneil. So I think this is very gettable. Okay, because I know you have played the game I'm going to ask you from. So yeah, last week you gave me a video game question, which I thought was a bit unfair. So I'm going to hit you with a video game question, but it's related to the Pokemon trading card game for Game Boy Color. And
I never played this game.
Bro, what? How have you never played this game?
I never played this
What?
game.
It's like one of the best games ever.
Do it anyways.
It's so much fun.
I don't know. I didn't care about the trading card game till I was like past that stage.
Yeah, but even when you were like older, you didn't like download the emulator and play the... Okay, well, for any of our listeners, it's actually a really fun game, and it's on Virtual Console too. And there's a sequel too, but it was Japanese only. But anyways, it's kind of, you go around this like island and like you win battles and you open packs and you build your deck, and it has all the cards from base set, I think Fossil and Jungle. But today, Aneil, our question is, the game actually has 18 exclusive cards that were made just for the video game. And 4 of them are legendary cards that you'd have to get by beating the bosses in the game. So, Neil, can you tell me which Pokemon are on the 4 legendary cards?
Oh, God. Okay. Given that I've never played this game, this is going to be exponentially harder than it needs to be for my purposes. But I can limit it down to Gen 1 because there's like base Fossil Jungle. So Zapdos was a good card. It was in base set.
These cards that I'm saying, like these legendary cards, like they don't exist in like the normal Pokemon sets. Like they were exclusive for the video game. They got printed, I think, eventually in real life, but they're just video game cards.
So they did get printed eventually?
Eventually, I think, but like in a promo set or something. But like when the game came out, they were just in the game.
Do you remember like what time of life these cards came out in real life?
Like around the time we were born, I think.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. So I'm just trying to narrow this down. So like the first thing I would guess is Mew. Like that's the one that makes the most sense because that was a Core promo. It's kind of obsolete. Is that one of them?
No.
Oh, God. Okay. Oh, there's only 4 other legendaries, isn't there? Just Mewtwo, Zapdos, Moltres, Articuno?
It's not necessarily a legendary Pokemon.
It's just a legendary card?
Yeah, the cards are just called legendary cards. I'll give you a hint. Like some of them are legendaries and like some of them are not legendaries.
Mr. Mime stands out to me.
No.
It wasn't Mr. Mime because there's like a bunch of those like weird Mr. Mime cards. I know one came out in Pokemon TCG Classic. Okay. Would I have ever seen these cards?
You might have. I think some of them are like they're all iconic Pokemon. Like if you just think about iconic Gen 1 Pokemon, you should be able to get there.
Was Pikachu one of them?
No.
Okay. Zard?
Nope.
What's iconic? Was Magikarp one of them?
No. Okay, I just looked it up. Like, I feel like you're into collecting more than I am, so you might have seen these cards in real life before.
Okay, that makes more sense. And when did they come out?
I think like 99, 2000-ish.
And there are Black Star promos, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll
the first thing that popped into my head.
Okay,
Sorry, go ahead.
Give me a guess.
No, I already guessed. The first thing that popped into my head was Birthday Pikachu. That's the one that made the most sense to me.
Like think of these are Pokemon where like they're very strong Pokemon. Like if they were in the video game, like they'd be strong Pokemon.
Okay. Was Snorlax one of them?
No, that's a good guess though. Like the one that's not a legendary is like a kind of Snorlaxy Pokemon.
Dragonite?
Yeah, Dragonite's one of the legendaries.
Okay, I'm taking this as a dub. I got 1 out of 4.
Okay. And then the other three, if you get one, I think you should be able to get the rest.
If I get one, I should really get the rest. I guess Charizard. Did I guess one of the birds?
You tell me.
Zapdos?
Yeah.
Okay, Articuno
Yeah.
Moltres. Okay, that makes sense. What do these cards look like, dude? I don't even remember these.
I'll flash them on the screen when I edit this for our viewers so they can look at it. But I don't know if you type in like
Okay.
Dragonite card Pokemon Game Boy or something like and Zapdos. They're nice cards actually.
Came out as promos. Interesting. I
Yeah.
never even knew that. Yeah, I never played that game. Like, it was kind of just like, by the time I was into card collecting, I was just playing IRL, so I didn't even like think about playing that game. But I've heard like nothing but good things, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
Yeah, speaking of games, we got a Pokemon Direct tomorrow. Should we take over-unders on like what we're gonna hear? Like, all right, what? I'll bet you $5 right now. I'm gonna put $5 on. Okay, if neither of us get it right, no one owes each other money. But I'm gonna put $5 on a new Legends game.
New Legends. Okay. So I'll let you have that bet. And then, all right, I'll put $5. We're going to get a new Let's Go game.
Oh God, I'll be more sad that there's a new Let's Go game more than I'd lose $5, dude. I don't want to play that. That's awful.
Yeah. I
don't know.
I was just going to say, I think the Let's Go games are actually really good for like teaching the younger generation about the old games. Like my little cousin like loves Let's Go Eevee. So I think for us, like it's kind of boring because we've played these games like a million times and like Fire Red Leaf Green or Heart Gold Soul Silver are like just the definitive versions. But I think for a lot of like kids who grew up and like they haven't played the old games, like I actually think it's like it does really well with them. I think that's the target demographic.
No, I get that. It's just like because we didn't have a mainline series game this year, so
Yeah.
I feel empty inside. But we did get no, we didn't actually. I was gonna say we got Zelda, but that was like a year ago as well.
Yeah, that was last year. That's not
crazy,
Pokemon.
bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with them not releasing a mainline Pokemon game for like 5 years if we get like quality similar to like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. But I know that's not
Same.
realistic.
Did you finish Tears of the Kingdom? Did you like it?
Yeah, I think Tears of the Kingdom was like objectively a better game than Breath of the Wild, but I enjoyed Breath of the Wild more just because it was really fresh. Like the first time I played it, like if I played Tears,
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, it's like just it makes sense, right? Like because Breath of the Wild was like one of those games where like it redefined like what open world games are like. Like when you played it, like you couldn't put it down. You're like, this is like nothing I've ever played before. So, but yeah, no, I loved Tears of the Kingdom. I didn't 100%
Yeah.
it. Like Breath of the Wild, I 100%ed. Tears of the Kingdom, I didn't 100%. So I just don't have time to do
I've
that.
been like, I've just been like putting it off because I know this is like the only Zelda game we're gonna get for the next like 5 years. So I've just been trying to pace myself. But now I'm like so addicted I can't put it down. And like behind me now you can see my Switch. Oh no, you can't. It's like facing the other way. But I had to move my Switch up here because I was playing so much in the basement. And now we have like renovation guys in the basement right now. So if you hear any boom, 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 it's random people putting a bathroom in the basement.
Nice.
So that's my life problem right now.
I mean, have you played like the classic Zelda games? Like, have you played like Twilight Princess, Ocarina, like all those?
Yeah, I played Majora's Mask. I started Twilight Princess, but those are the only ones I played.
Okay, so I mean, like you have a huge library you could play if you want, like the classic Zeldas. They're very different than Breath of the Wild, but they're really fun. So
Yeah, I didn't really like it. Like I tried Majora's Mask after Breath of the Wild. I didn't like it.
yeah, it's a
It just
different
wasn't
game.
really
It's a
for me.
different style of game for sure.
So I don't know. I'm waiting for the new GTA. Then no one's ever gonna see me ever again. Like Shift Gear podcast will be fully canceled when GTA 6 comes out. I won't have time. Just have to do heists, rob banks all day. It's just that's all we got to do now.
Nice. Yeah, I also speaking of the direct, I
sorry,
saw
go
that I think they're gonna reveal some new cards at the direct as well, or like Japan's just gonna reveal cards. I think I saw that as well. Like the Ogre Pawn from the next set might get revealed. So over under on Ogre Pawn being broken, Aneil. Like what percentage are you giving it?
I got a negative 140.
You don't think it's gonna be good?
I think it's good. I know. I think
Oh,
it
you're
is
saying
gonna be
minus
good.
140 that it's good. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, minus 140.
So for people
do you
who don't
think?
know odds, Aneil's saying it has a roughly like what? That's like 65-70% chance of being good.
60, yeah, it's 60 something percent.
Yeah.
That's what I talk in now, bro.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be good. Like I mean, it's the main card in the set, and like it's in the DLC for the video game. Like that's the main Pokemon. So I think it'll be good.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know. These directs are always so like hit or miss. Like sometimes like people get up at like 5 in the morning at their time. They get excited for these directs, and it's just like them talking about like, all right, like here's Pokemon Buffet coming out next year. You just sit there and you're just like in Machoke, like restocking rice at a buffet or some
Yo,
stupid game
Pokemon
like
Sleep,
that.
man. You don't enjoy Pokemon Sleep?
I can't say I do. I really can't say I do. Speaking of which, actually, one thing I want to say is like, shout out to the Pokemon Go community. This weekend was the Pokemon Go Sinnoh tour. I think I said that right. And like, look, I'm not a frequenter of Pokemon Go anymore. I'm level 47, like a pretty high level, but I was super serious for a while and I stopped playing. This weekend has done things for me. I went to the Eaton Center in downtown Toronto. There was like legit over 200 people playing the game. It was insane. And like they put out this like free, this was a free event, like come play as you want. You don't need to buy a ticket. Like just go around. There's like the Lake Shirl's in the wild, a Dialga Palkia in the wild. Like it's just sick. So shout out to the Pokemon Go community. I know we cross over a lot. I know sometimes we make fun of y'all for just tap, 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 tap. And we will continue to do that till the day we die. But shout out to you guys because you guys, they know how to put on a show. I'll say that. Like when they're out, like in 2016, like, I mean, I guess we were part of that community at that time, but when these guys are out playing, they're out playing.
Yep.
Like very noticeable, walking into people, head down on the phone, just like bumping shoulders with every angry mom ever. And it's like, shout out to them, man.
Yeah.
They're solid. And I almost signed up for Pokemon Go League Challenge the other day.
Oh,
That's
nice.
besides the point, though.
You know what I love about the Pokemon Go tournaments that I think is so funny? Okay,
What?
one, they use like challenge, if you know what that is, like instead of using Arcanine. So like they have like jank pairing system. But my favorite thing is that like they don't use people's names. Like you use your screen name. So like if you go to play against someone, it'll be like Demon Slayer, like X. Like I remember I was in, like I remember it was like Worlds or it was like Internationals, and like I was watching the Go finals, and I'm just like
Yeah.
it's just like someone's like crazy username, and like they're on the stage and like the girls interviewing him after he won, and like they're not even saying like his name. They're just like, all right, like I forget what his name was. It's something like Demon Slayer or something. I'm like, nice.
You just make it some nonsense and they have to say your
Yeah,
name.
that's say your
right?
name. So like imagine you
That's
win,
kinda funny.
you win Worlds, and they're like, all right, Bob Man 888, how does it feel?
Yeah.
Worlds.
I would just name myself something like absolutely stupid just because they'd have to say it. I'd be like, Silver Tempest Elite Trainer Box. They'd be
that's
like,
it.
congratulations, Silver Tempest Elite Trainer Box. What I was going to get, this is my Pokemon Go team list that I had to physically write out by hand to play in the Pokemon Go challenge. And you know what's better than this? The fact that you have to write two of them to participate in any league.
But why
You have
two?
to write one to give to your opponent. You have to
Okay.
write one to give to the TO. And there was not a photocopier on hand, so I wrote this out twice.
Nice.
And let me tell you, this was so annoying to put together. And after that, I will not be playing Pokemon Go again. That's all I know.
Well, the thing I always thought was frustrating is like it's not like the video games where they fix the like IV thing now. Like you have to literally catch like perfect Pokemon in the wild or like trade and then get them. So I don't know. That always turned me off from like ever trying to actually like.
I liked the
for it.
chase. Like I was actually really competitive in Go for a while. I loved it. Like it was
Such a
so fun.
grind.
I don't know. It's not for everyone. It's not like the TCG where you can go buy Miraidon League Battle Deck for $25 and suddenly be competitive.
Yeah, but I mean the other problem too is it's like if you trade Pokemon in Pokemon Go, like they're like EVs and IVs, whatever it's called in that game, like gets reset, so you can't even like share like Pokemon with your friends. Like
I think that's to like I don't know, like disencourage. Sorry, what's the word for disencouragement?
disencouragement.
Is it disencouragement? Is that a
It's
real
like
word?
disencourage.
Decentivize is the word. I'm
Incentivize.
looking for.
Okay.
Decentivize.
Actually, I
It's
don't
to
know if disencourage is a
decentivize
word
people.
to be honest.
I don't know if that's a word.
Yo, I'm
But,
looking it up right now.
Yeah, look it up. Actually, it's more
It's
important.
discourage. Discourage.
Yo, how did we miss
Oh no,
that?
disencourage is a word.
All right, next week's episode is sponsored by Webster's Dictionary.
I'm on Merriam-Webster thesaurus right now.
Is it a thesaurus or a dictionary?
Well,
Webster creates
they
dictionaries.
make
don't they?
dictionaries, but I think I clicked on like words that like I was on the page for like discourage or disencourage, and there's discourage,
Yeah.
and that took me to the thesaurus because I was looking at similar words. But
This is prime entertainment.
This is
This
prime
is actually prime entertainment. So sorry, what I was trying to say is I think it's to discourage people from like selling them on eBay and stuff because I know a lot of people do that
Yeah.
for VGC. They'll like sell like here's a perfectly gen shiny Arcanine, pay me $20, buddy, and that's the problem.
yeah, so
All right, before we sign off, let's give people some actual good content for a sec. Just I know it's not something we're used to doing, but let's just for a second. The Philippines Regional League, which you neglected to know about, which I find personally very offensive, happened last weekend. And I know you said, hey, there was no tournaments that happened last weekend, but this is a very important one. And I just want to talk about it for a quick sec. So the top 16, because like as much as we all want to dismiss this format, I do as well. It still does matter. We still have Vancouver. We still have some overseas tourneys. So let's just go through it real quick. Charizard won it, which is it's interesting to me because I think Charizard's in a really weird place where there's a lot of targets on its back, and Charizard does not operate well with targets on its back. So did you have a chance to look at the list at all?
that one or just like the decks that did well.
The one that won.
I'm looking at it right now. I've got some heavy ball action in here. Haven't seen that in a while.
Mm-hmm.
We've got choice belts. I mean, that we see from time to time. You got the city collapsed. Yeah, seems
It's
pretty
pretty standard.
pretty standard.
But I thought heavy ball was really interesting. I thought that was something that like it doesn't like swing anything per se, but I think it's something new to talk about. Like I haven't really seen this much before. Mind you, I'm not much of a Zard player. But that seems interesting because like a lot of the time you do kind of just lose if you prize Fish or Manaphy or Jirachi or Rotom. Like you're in a tough spot, and you play Arvin, so I don't know why this wasn't brought to the forefront faster. But I think it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know.
And then, well, the other thing that was interesting is actually, sorry, the most interesting part was the fact that it's not interesting, but the second place Roaring Moon list was the same list that Ross Cawthon and about 40 others have played. So if you click on it,
I know. I
you
love
go
what
under.
it is.
This is so jokes. It's like deck list played by, and there's like a whole like essay with citations on who played this.
There's 20 people on Limitless who played this deck.
It's insane, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be some sort of world record.
Yeah. Also, no, you got mad at me for not knowing this tournament happened. Like, you didn't even know about the U.S. versus Australia match, too, bro.
Yeah, I was really really mad and not the slightest bit sarcastic. Yes, yeah, I did not know anything about the USA and Australia match. I'll be honest. That is not something I particularly cared about. But you know what? Like, I'd be interested to see how the metrics did compared to the first one.
So it was kind of funny because like they had voice comms this time, and I was busy on Saturday. Like I was coaching basketball, so not Pokemon, so
Yeah.
I couldn't watch. But I watched the last game yesterday because I was curious how it went. It's so funny, bro. Like you had James Cox at the end after they won, basically just like calling America trash.
No way, bro. Really?
Well, he just like I think like Team USA like kind of like misplayed a bit with Snorlax, and then like James is like, yo, they threw so hard, they threw so hard, they threw so hard. Every time you listen to their comms.
What were the deck matchups?
So I think okay, it's on their Twitters. I think so. Each team had to pick 5 decks. So Australia picked Arceus, Regigigas. They picked Giratina. They picked Gardevoir. They picked Mew and Snorlax. I think. USA picked Giratina, Gardevoir, Chenpao, Snorlax, and I forgot what the last one is. But
Chen Pao's interesting.
yeah, I think because well Reagan's on their team, so he wanted Chenpao, and they got a win with Chenpao. So it was just funny too, because then they would go like the Team USA voice comms, and just like none of them
Yeah.
were talking, and I think it's like they were in a bad spot in Game 3. So I'm like, I don't know if this is the whole time, but I'm like, it was just like Bradner playing, and then sometimes you'd have the John and Reagan like chime in. So it was actually pretty funny, like from what I watched, and
Yeah.
I think people who watched it really enjoyed it. So and like the production value was definitely way up this time than the first one.
I'm glad to hear it was better received than the first one because after the first one, like I'll be honest, like I had no like temptation to watch this because like I didn't want to sit there and watch people like take 50 seconds to flower select.
Yeah, so no, it was very interesting. I think the voice comms made it like more fun. I think that was good.
No, it's good.
And it being a team battle was I think cool, and it went all 9 games. Like they went the distance. So
Was it 9 games BO3 or just like just straight
no,
up? Like,
straight
9?
up. Like and like your deck selection is blind, so you have to kind of like metagame like to pick. So
Yeah.
one thing I was thinking about in the format they picked, it's like both teams brought Snorlax. I'm like, yo, what if you just put a hard Snorlax tech in each of your decks, and like they can just never beat Snorlax? Like, what if I just rock like one of my decks is Quad Minior
Yeah.
or something?
Just for fun?
Yeah, but, well, you would win the thing because like they'd have no answer to it. As if they
You have to play each of the 5 decks?
you have
Is that
to
how it
win with
works?
each of your 5 decks. Yeah.
Oh.
So like
Oh yeah, so you could never win.
yeah. So if you just put Minior in like each of your decks, like I feel like you just win. But obviously, like
It'd be kind of
that's
jokes.
yeah.
Yeah, like the other thing is too, it'd be kind of jokes if these things like blew up a little bit because you get like weird like spies being sent out. They'd be like, yo, Kieran, like go into the Australian group chat real quick. Let me know what they're gonna play, and you just like walk in, you're like, hey guys, like I'm just chilling, like what's up? I'm in no contact with anybody. They're like, yeah, we're playing Snorlax, and then suddenly you're just an undercover spy.
Yeah.
So like if these things blew up, it'd actually be kind of funny to like just to see how like because like the Pokemon community is all like intertwined in some way, shape,
Yeah.
or form. Like you kind of know like what you said with Reagan. Like Reagan was there, that's why they played Chempali. You kind of know a little bit about like what your opponent's
Yeah.
gonna play. And I think it'd be actually kind of cool if this like blew up a lot more. The other thing that came up was that whole like Canada or Ontario versus like California thing this week.
I mean, I don't know if that came up. I think the people in America were doing like who's the best state, and then like Mark Dees on or someone was like Ontario's the best, but like we're a province, not a state. I think John even acknowledged like it's not a debate. So honestly, I'm
It's funny.
hyping ourselves up here, but I definitely think Ontario like it's not even close. We'd like wipe the floor with like any Any region, any
I
state.
think we do. I think we would do pretty well. Yeah, we have like 3 teams of people that could like go out. It's kind of insane.
I think Mark put you on the B team, Aneil. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I'm fine with that. We have like 8 worlds or 8 like regional champions on that list. Like, I'd be, I think, more upset if for some reason I snuck within a team of 8 regional champions. And like, given how deep our depth pool is, I'll take captain of B team. I'll take it.
Yeah, because I think on our list we have like obviously Estrada, like he's won worlds. You have Cyrus, they've won an international. You have Rowan, he's won a regional. You have Raymond, he's won a regional. Trying to think who else has won a regional.
Well, you won Nats, so we'll take that.
That was in seniors, so I'm not counting that. Oh, we have Zach on the team. Zach's won a regionals.
Zach's won. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm on the team. I haven't won a regionals, but I've done pretty well for myself. We got
you're all right.
We got Lucas Zing. He was like one of the best seniors of all time. And he's got some top cuts in masters. Great season.
I think the criteria was like top 8 regionals, more or less.
Okay,
like, that was more or less the criteria.
Yeah.
At least that's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
And like there are a couple people there who have top 8 at regionals who are not on that list, but like it's it's not my place to dive into who belongs where because I don't want to be involved in this at all. But it seemed fair. It actually seemed like relatively accurate for what it was.
Yeah, actually, no, you're on the team with Shashi and Venier, Chris Venier. Chris Venier, one of the most underrated players in the game. So
I agree. Yeah, we have to have him on one week.
We'll have him on one time.
For
sure. I don't know how many players there are, but he's made like every single world since like 2013 or 14. Like, it's like insane.
And he's gonna do it again.
Yeah, he has probably like one of the highest streaks besides like Ross. Like,
yeah. He is like a LeBron-like career, where it's just like every year, like you don't. I mean, like
I wouldn't say LeBron. I'd say like Tony Parker type, like good team.
I'm just talking in terms of consistency.
Oh yeah.
In terms of consistency, it's like a LeBron-like career. Like every year, you're just like, all right, like where did you come from, Chris? Like what happened here? But really, like we've come to expect it from him. He's just a boss. He just does his thing.
So
we're gonna have him on one week. He actually got to a League Cup final again yesterday, and they all went to. I heard they all went to Jollibee, and now they're all really sick. So
from Jollibee.
Yeah.
do they have Jollibee in America, or is that because I know it's a Filipino chain? Like now we have it in Toronto.
I actually don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a Jollibee in America.
Yeah, I've never seen one in America either. That's why.
Yo, someone from America, let us know. Do y'all have Jollibee? Like, and if not, like respectfully, you're not missing much.
Yeah, but that'll be one chain we have that they don't have. So.
Which is not. Yeah, we don't have many of those. We have Swiss Chalet.
Bro, that place sucks, bro.
You don't like Swiss Chalet?
No, it's so bad.
It's such like it's a rural city thing for sure. Like people in rural cities love Swiss Chalet, but people in the city, like in Toronto, I find everyone hates it.
See, well, it's just like I feel like the thing I have with chain restaurants is like you can just go to a local restaurant for like the same price. So it's like why would I not just pick that over going to like a chain?
But like, are there very few like local rotisserie restaurants?
There's one on my street, bro. It's called Bernhardt's. It's like one of the best restaurants in the city. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I've never heard of that place. Like when Nando's came to Canada, like everything changed for me. I was like, this is like just incredible.
You're a big chain guy, Neil. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't mind chains. I like good food, and like where I live, bro, we don't have these options. I walk outside and I see trees, and I see a valley, and I see water. I don't see establishments.
Yeah.
I also see an Amish community that's 5 minutes away from my house. So shout out to those guys. I don't
they're-
really know how they operate, but
There was one near where I went to school, in St. Jacobs, out in Waterloo.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So actually,
Shout out to them.
Nando's is decent. I had it last year in London. I feel like I just had to get a cheeky Nando's. Just I've heard so much
Yeah, you
about
have to
it.
get cheeky Nando's when you're there, bro. Like that's just how it works. All right. Well, we've talked about just about everything that has to do with not Pokemon. As you can tell, this is a very dead time for Pokemon. But man, maybe next year we'll conveniently go on vacation at this time when we have a 6-month format. It's insane how little there is to talk about right now. But you know what? We're gonna have that direct tomorrow. Maybe we should have waited till tomorrow to talk about the direct.
Okay, we can talk about it next week if anything important happens.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week, 6 days after it happens. It's more important that people can have this podcast while they eat their Whoppers on Wednesday. Because we all eat Whoppers on Wednesday, right, Karen?
Yeah, definitely.
I hate Whoppers, bro. They're so bad.
I haven't had one in I think 10 or 15 years, so I can't comment.
It's jokes because I tweet it every Wednesday. I'm like, yo, happy Whopper Wednesday. So everyone's like, yo, like, do you get your Whopper? And I'm like, bro, I actually don't like Burger King, but thanks. I go, like, if I ever go, it's for the memes. It's so I can, like, send someone, like, the Whopper, like, hey, bro, like, I got this Whopper. Like, I'm never going because I like Whoppers. Although the price is good. It's like $5.
Yeah, it's reasonable. They're definitely competing on price.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Anyways, y'all be well. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. And go to the energy charity event, please. Everybody.
Yeah,
Okay,
go
we
check
need
that
you
out.
there.
I'm gonna
Go check it
I'm
out.
gonna be watching. Like it sounds fun, bro. They got
I'll
the old
watch too.
formats, all that. Yeah, like I'm gonna go watch. So.
Yeah, I don't watch USA versus Australia, but I'll watch that.
Oh, also, I forgot to mention, if you're listening to this or watching this the day it comes out, Aneil and I are streaming the Banana Games League Cup on the Wednesday.
Yes, we are.
So
Yes.
it'll be on my YouTube channel. So, I mean, I assume if you listen to this podcast, like, you probably know my channel. So go over there. If you don't, it's just type in Ciaran Farah. It'll come up. So go
We're
watch
commentating.
our commentating debut.
Yeah, this is gonna be big. It's gonna be big, and we'll have that, and we have a group session. That's also something we gotta.
That's right.
We're still figuring that one out, but we're gonna have a group session before Vancouver, running through Metafy. Not because we want to be basic bees, but because like that's the wave now. We're trying to hop on, so keep an eye out for that. We'll have that out at some point.
Cool. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Now
any
you can
other
sign
weird
it.
shout-outs
No,
we have
now,
that we can think
now you
about?
can sign us off.
All right. I don't have a good sign off.
You don't
See
have
y'all
to-
next week. Peace.
Later.